What's up, Demas? What's up, buddy? Ah, that was a. Oh, wait, I don't want to progress the. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Where's the? That was a thrilling display. If I may be so vaunting, the warriors I spun from your aether fought even more splendidly than I had anticipated. I suppose they were cut from the excellent cloth, after all. We should wait until this man regains his senses, wears the robes of a warder, and I would be very curious to know what drove him to attack us sight unseen. I'd like to know why he just tried to club me in the head, dude. It's a fucking chain-wielding motherfucker. Fuck him with a stick. Any healing spells, dude? So he stirs. The hell's he doing, bro? Why are you trying to club people out here? What came over me? It's coming back to me. My mind was filled with a storm of desperation, anger. I leapt at you. I knew not of your intentions. But accept my apologies and my thanks. You not knocked some sense back into me. May have fallen upon someone less capable of defending themselves. I am Eric's Theonus. I have no idea. I'm Eric. That is his new name. I am Eric, a warder of Asphodelos, Pandaemonium's highest layer, the place we are in now. Must wonder why you're so desperate to keep us out. What's happening in Pandaemonium? Nations interred within Asphodelos have been set free. Stalk its halls to no end. Violence. That is not good, to say the least. Has this ever happened before? No, never. Slayer of Pandaemonium is under the charge of a keyword who keeps strict control over the most minute aspects of their domain. Selected with great care, loyalty to Master La Habrea is absolute. Something has gone terribly wrong. As we might to hold the line, chaos within is overwhelming. I hardly realized that I had become separated from my colleagues. I remembered a chorus of whispers assailing my senses, and afterwards only flashes of rage and fury, and blackness from which I awoke to find that whatever had overcome me was gone. I see. Senses may have been muddled by magics that affect the mind. Perhaps the selfsame ones that you saw separated from the other warders? Whatever had taken hold of me, for releasing me from his clutches. That you've come here from the surface must mean some word of our plight has reached the outside world. If you know anything that may help, pray tell. Horror among horrors. Pandaemonium's protections are indeed being dismantled from within. But the same individual or individuals that release its captives and set them upon you, no doubt. Such knowledge avails us, however, cannot ascertain their identity. Nimbus, was it? You said you work for an organization under the auspices of the Convocation. They to receive word that what has transpired here, what measures they take. Else they would consider this place to be a lost cause. Pandaemonium's ties to the outside world would be severed. Perhaps it would be wiped from existence entirely. How would you do that? As I thought, creatures to escape into the outside world, the untold carnage. Words of La Habrea would never risk that, despite the value the research subjects may hold. All the more reason to work with haste. We can expect further help, and it falls upon me to save the others. I'll not leave them behind. Go alone? I won't leave the other warders to face certain doom. I know they fight for survival, even now, but abandon their duty. See the creatures return to their cells at all costs. So I must do the same. Damus, the request I'm about to make of you is a monumental one, but please, say not a word of this to the convocation until I've been given the chance to set things right. I don't know if you can set things right, because you were the first floor. I don't know. Alright. Forgive my rudeness, Eric. My decision cannot be swayed by emotion. You can only be consigning yourself to an early death. Strength of resolve alone cannot win in the face of overwhelming odds. Yeah, Eric. But not strong enough to do shit. However, that being said, our investigation has only just begun. We would be remiss to turn back or we made an exhaustive survey. So for the time being, there is slightly more than resolve to rely upon. I got you, brother. I knew you'd be all too eager to join us. Each moment since you fell from the skies has been more interesting than the last. More and more you remind me of my dear friend. Which goes some way toward encouraging me that this matter will yet reach a satisfactory conclusion. So you agree to help? For the moment, our goals align. Protective magics of Pandaemonium yet holds. For the moment, time is in our favor. Let's proceed upon the course you and Zoe have set us upon. Hell yeah, brother. I kicked your ass, I'll kick whatever ass is in here. Miss and Zoe, yes? Thank you. Orders owe you a great debt already. Damn right. Where's my paycheck? Where's my gill? Give it here. Should be glad to have someone familiar with Pandaemonium's halls by our side. A party of 3 is ever so much more entertaining than a pair of 2. Now, let's turn our attention to rescuing your colleagues. Perhaps it would be wise to approach the gates in case any have followed you out. It seems to be because there's this one and then there's this one and there's one beyond that, right? And it seems to just be in the hall there, so maybe the fourth floor is actually going to be taking place in the hall. But more crit, always welcome. There you go. First floor, done. Second floor time. Oh yeah, second floor time. Poggies. Alright, what's up, Eric? Under the surface. A sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor warder has made it this far. Should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I've misunderstood, but mean to rescue the warders and creations both? Naturally, although they may be dangerous, they are valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study go to waste. I dare say La Habrea would smile to hear you say such a thing, as if we had cause to report this instance to him. Smile? Not sure his face is capable of such warmth. So you have met him before. I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandaemonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. As to say, La Habrea's predecessor is it La Habrea's predecessor in the position of chief keyword. Name was Athena. She was a researcher with the words. Was she who appointed me to this position, in fact? I see. I did not know there was a chief keyword before La Habrea. Motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to the wards, then? Wish also to preserve the work of your mentor? Yeah, that's the right of it. I'm lacking in ideas of how to go about that, however. A mere warder cannot wield interment magics. But of course I can only expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Interment is more refined and powerful magics based upon the same principles. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the key ward of each tier is permitted to use such interment. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use the spell to any notable effect. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Habrea himself established their foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster wills. Indeed. All the illusory beings you summoned in our fight suggested as such. I see your knowledge of magic is vast. Perhaps you've already mastered the art of interment. And I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. Sorry, it was for me, not him. I'm afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not the precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws that would be needed to cast said spells with any consistency. While I consider myself well-versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of key ward without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of the interment and its inner workings, perhaps... Leave the fighting to me. You two can figure out the capturing mumbo-jumbo. I recommend a Pokeball. That way we may use them later. I dare say we can do just that. Eric, you implied that what prevented you from performing interment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Spell succeed then? I can't say for certain. Never heard of such a thing being done before. I believe it may be our best recourse. That is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep, we would have to start over. Needn't worry about that. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burned in my memory. I won't disappoint. Right, well, let's work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures. I suppose there is the matter of finding one. I'd be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find ourselves surrounded with not but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I'd prefer to engage a single creature that Zoe could dispatch on his own if the spell were to go awry. I agree. I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the hippocampus wandering the waterways during my flight. Perhaps it's still there. Few of the subjects housed within Asphodelos are fond of water. I believe we'll be able to enrage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. That should be our first target, or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the intermittent magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. Yep, beat the monster, throw it in the Pokeball. Easy please. As dependable as ever. But you have given it a thorough trouncing, we shall bind this hippocampus with the keyword's magic. keywords magic. Till then, my illusions shall fight by your side. For a guy that has to focus on the other shit, like he's fucking throwing spells, dude. He's like, yeah, here's some spells. You want some magic? There you go. Whatever, dude. Nimbocampus will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic warps the environment around it. And it will be at home amidst the waterways. Show yourself for a fight. Oh, actually, going in the building for this one. Okay, never mind. Okay, fuck what I was saying earlier then. Check. Into the waterways we go. Asphodelos, the second circle. Now accessible. Let's go, baby.